It's really coming down out there.
Oh, it's snowing good. Getting up here was rough. It was a rough drive in.
Yeah. It's amazing. The snowstorm has been predicted. They didn't think to plow the roads?
No, and I didn't plan to check the weather report. So here we are today, and
welcome to Chicago.
Happy to be here.
Welcome to Chicago. Well, I thank you for being here. This is Windy City Unlocked. This is not Windy City Unlocked. This is Unlocking the Windy City podcast. I'm your host, Justin Greenberg, longtime real estate agent and TV host of Windy City Unlocked. And I'm here today with one of my team members, Jack Wiley.
Thank you.
From
Thanks
the
for
JG
having
Group.
me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you here. So, Jack, you are the youngest team member of the JG Group, but also the most productive team member of the JG Group.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I think growing up, I kind of was always that kind of, mentality was I'm going to get the job done no matter what it takes. I think that kind of just came from the way I was raised and being involved in competitive sports and, being really focusing a lot on my academics as I wanted to be a medical student and planned to go to med school before I found myself doing real estate.
So what sports besides, I know you were a hockey player. You can tell by the hair, that's always a dead giveaway, but what other sports did you play growing up? Yeah,
I think my parents just wanted me to get involved in like every sport I possibly can. One, to just kind of grow and meet more people, as well as, I think playing multiple sports helps young people kind of develop their skills and see like what's their best kind of, qualities and crafts.
That's a good way to look at it. I never really thought about it that way. And it's interesting because Carrie and I are having that conversation right now with our kids. Like, what do we want them to be involved in?
Yeah.
I never really thought about it as figuring out a way to develop skills and what you're good at and what you're not. I mean, obviously sport-wise, yes, but...
I hear it a lot on other podcasts that I listen to. One in particular, Spin Chicklets, where they get, past and former NHL players on the podcast.
Okay.
And when they're talking about the way they were raised, a lot of them were playing either basketball, baseball, trying to develop additional skills that would, go hand in hand with the sport that they really want to focus on. So I played baseball growing up. I played football. Never got into soccer. That was the one sport that I never got into. And you can tell if I have a soccer ball in front of me, I don't know how to kick it.
Yeah, I can't do soccer. I can't watch soccer. I can't play soccer. I'm a pretty good goalie. I've got good reflexes, but something about it, I cannot get into that sport. I don't know why.
It's hard.
My brother will sit there and watch the World Cup.
Yeah.
Every single game.
It's coming up this year, so.
And it's here, isn't it?
It is. A little bit in the U.S. too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be exciting. But yeah, I mean, going through all those motions of playing sports and, focusing on school with my, career right now with real estate, I just want to give people the best experience. And I think it kind of goes back with my first job. And that was being a caddy at the age of 12. Getting into that role, I'm around a lot of professional people who have, a great career. They are there to kind of be an advocate for, helping the youth grow into, people that could potentially see themselves being a member at the country club one day.
Yeah.
And
you're speaking my language right now.
Yeah, I know. You were a caddy too.
We have a similar background. We both grew up caddying at the same place, and that's how I got into real estate. Now you're in real estate.
Yeah.
Grew up caddying for me.
And so I just loved the opportunity. As a 12-year-old, I didn't know how to even rake a sand bunker. And going back to our caddy master, I remember him asking me when I was doing the training, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And so that's probably why I sat on the benches for 6 days in a row at 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. But as I started to get the hang of it, it wasn't really about the caddying experience. It was getting to know your golfer, asking them questions, getting to know what they do for a living. How did they, end up being a member at the country club? And I took it that way, and then as I started feeling a little bit more comfortable with the golfers that I was caddying for, I was able to kind of help them through every shot that they were about to approach and get them in the mentality to think, okay, it's 150, it's uphill, the wind's in my face, do I need a club up? So I was able to really get a better understanding of what their golf game is like and help them in that way. And
It's a good life experience.
Yeah.
It really is. It teaches you, it prepares you in a lot of ways for business, especially a service-based, consultative business like real estate.
Yeah, and I think real estate, it's relationship based as well as it's very like personality. You really want to understand your client as their person, as their own, and you want to, realize what they're going through, and the decisions they're making, especially when they're being a home buyer. That's first-time home buyers, they have a lot to think about, and you want to just kind of put yourself in their shoes in the process and help them really just understand the step-by-step to make sure that they have a smooth transaction.
And I think that's all very important because this is, in many cases, the largest single investment that someone will make in their lifetime, or at least the first, when you're talking about a first-time home buyer. But I want you to take a step back because you really started your career in real estate focused on rentals and built an incredible business with rental clients, and that's really the driving force, that's the engine behind the success that you've had so far working with buyers now and making that transition. Let's talk about that because that's not an easy transition. That's something that a lot of agents never make that jump.
Yeah, I mean, getting my feet wet into real estate, I was very fortunate to come across my mentor, Ryan Grober, just kind of getting me in the flow of what it takes to, go into this role. As I mentioned, I was working as a medical scribe at the time, so I was doing part-time medical work and real estate.
What exactly is a medical scribe?
Yeah, so a medical scribe is essentially you're sitting in the appointment and you're writing down essentially everything that has been spoken between the doctor and the patient. And then after the visit, you're going back into the computer and putting all the notes in there. So,
so are you just typing in those notes verbatim, or are you like summarizing what was
summarizing what was said?
Okay, so you actually have to be paying attention.
You gotta be paying attention. You gotta know the terminology. And I thought I was enjoying it. And I remember one morning I walked into the office of Jameson Sotheby's, and Ryan looked at me and he's like, "You gotta make the decision." I'm like, "What do you mean make the decision?" He's like, "You gotta go all in real estate, or you gotta go all in with medical. What do you want to do?" And I sat there for 5-10 minutes, and I remembered I just picked up the phone. I called my old boss at the medical office, and I said, I think that was my last day at the office. I'm done.
That's awesome. So that was great advice that he gave you. That really was. Because I've had that conversation with many people over time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're either all in or you're all out. So make a decision.
This is a full-time gig. You really got to be fully involved on a daily process, because you are doing a service for clients that are really relying on you. And so going back to your question about how it all started, I was a little bit thrown into the wild. I remember we had a lot of vacant doors that we were overseeing, and it was Ryan, myself, and a kid named by Julian Levitt, and we were just go-getters. We had all these vacancies. He said, "Here's your list of units that you got to go fill." And I remember I showed up to the first appointment. I didn't even know how to open up a lockbox. It was on a cold day. It was in February. I think it might have been frozen. I had to go.
Probably was.
I had to go to Starbucks, get some hot water, pour it on it. I'm like, wow, this is what it takes to be in this position.
That was smart though.
Yeah.
The amount of agents that I've had call me over the years, your lockbox is frozen, I don't know what to do. Go get some fucking hot water and pour it on there to unfreeze it. It's not that fucking hard.
Yeah. So we got the lockbox open, and I remember this woman came in and she was asking me all of the questions, what to expect with management, how am I gonna make the payments? I didn't have the answers to it. However, I was like, you know what, let me get back to you. Let me get that information for you, and I'll get this over to you by the end of the day. And honestly, she was the one who moved forward with the apartment. It was the first tour, and I was able to get it done. And, it was a great learning experience. And I think just through having the doors, the vacancies to fill, I was really able to get my feet wet with how to, overlook a rental portfolio. And I think, with what I do on a daily basis and throughout the year, with overseeing over 100 units of rentals, I've been able to kind of just have a better understanding of what it takes initially for, helping out rental tenants or rental landlords to kind of move on to the next step, and that's sales. And with a better understanding of doing the rentals, I've been able to really gather what the market's doing on the rental sides. So looking at the numbers of what my rent's gonna look like compared to maybe what my monthly mortgage payments would look like, I'm able to really give my clients a great understanding of this might be the better route to go. And honestly, there's been times where my clients have asked me, like we're thinking about moving, and I've told them, look, you guys might as well stay there for one more year. You should renew your lease, because the cost of paying for movers and finding a new apartment, it's expensive. So
there's two things you said just now. The first thing you said was going back to your first tour. And I want the people at home, if you're thinking about getting into an industry like ours, I don't know, let me get back to you. That was what you said to your very first client.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a success. And I'm guessing you still keep in touch with that client to this day, correct?
I actually do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was number one. Number two is this might be the thing that makes more sense for you to do. It doesn't involve me getting a sale or a commission, but it might make more sense for you to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Stay put.
And I think that just kind of goes back to the person who I am. Like, I've always wanted to do something for the greater good. And
well, it's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's not even for the greater good. It's just
like,
doing the right thing. That's the number one lesson.
Yeah.
If anyone out there is watching this, I hope there's people watching this, but if people are watching this, do the right thing.
Yeah.
There's so many people in our industry that just don't
want the
do
sale.
the right thing.
Yeah. I know. And you can smell it, you can sniff it, and your clients can too. So like, realize what you're about to say to your client, because they're trusting you.
Right.
And if you say the wrong thing, they're going to go back home and be like, did you hear what he said?
100%. And they're never going to forget that either.
Yeah. So, I mean, with all the rentals, it's really been able to help me have a pipeline. And I think this is the biggest thing for young individuals who are getting their feet wet with real estate, is figuring out what your pipeline looks like so that you understand who you need to connect with on a daily basis or a monthly basis, and grab coffees, grab lunches, do the small things, because the small things are going to lead to great success down the road. This is not an industry that you get into and you're looking for daily success. You have to anticipate that the client that you just helped yesterday, it might take 2-3 years for to see the really big success with that client. However, you got to continue to keep that relationship, and you got to continue to just network with those people and get into their sphere, because that's how I look at it. It's like, I do 100 rentals a year. My goal is to now tap into 100 other individuals' network to get to know the people that they know, the people that they work with, because I want to be that known person around the sphere of Chicago.
For sure. Well, and I think that's really important. And the key element of that is you cannot do this job part-time or half-assed.
No.
You just can't do it.
No.
And I think that's a good lesson. This is turning into more of a what to do or what not to do if you're going to get into real estate podcast right now. But I think that's a really important lesson for people, especially the consumer. You may have a friend or a cousin or, family member, whatever it is, who is in real estate part-time or has their real estate license. But it doesn't always make sense. It's not always the best move for you to work with that person who is not full-time.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you still want the relationship with them, like, give them a referral. Go to use someone who knows the market and is going to give you the best experience. But if you don't want to hurt their feelings, like, still have them involved. Like, hey, like, you can still be involved. Like, we'll give you a referral.
I'm going to give you free money. I'm going to make sure that you get paid.
That doesn't sound too
for
bad
not doing
to me.
anything. That's one of the crazy things in our industry, is that there is that option. There's that ability for someone to just make money for doing absolutely nothing. And there's agents out there that are doing that very successfully. There's some agents out there that do not sell a single property at all.
All referral based.
All referral based.
Yeah.
They just refer out their business. They get a 25 or 30% cut of the business, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that.
But they had to do something before that to get that book, you know? So it's
they had to have connections.
They grinded. They had connections. So Depends.
There is one person out there I know, I'm not going to name them, but there is one person out there I know who's just very well connected, got their real estate license, and just makes 6 figures a year referring out business. So it doesn't, you don't always have to grind and hustle, but it's really hard unless you're well connected.
Yeah. And I mean, like, going back to grinding and hustling, right? There are times in this industry where, you know, especially when you're getting started, like, you got to take every opportunity that comes in front of you. I know some people say you got to say no. That's the right thing to do in this industry. But when you are getting started, say yes. Take on as many opportunities that come across your table, because you'll understand as you start growing and your business starts developing, there are times where you can look back and be like, I don't want to take this. And it's actually probably better for me to not take this. And
Trial by fire.
And I think I've been able to kind of learn that as I'm developing in my career, is like, there will be opportunities that come across and maybe these don't make sense at the time. And you got to be able to say no. And that's something that's been really helping me out as I'm making my way through my 4th year now. Because, like, I just don't have the time for it. You know, I really value my time. And if you can't value your time, what are you worth?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think it's a really important lesson that you kind of hit on that. You didn't do that at first. You took every client, but you have to learn when to say no. And it's really powerful the first time that you can say, no, I'm sorry. I'm just not going to work with you.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful thing to be able to do, and not a lot of people can do that. And there's people to this day that have been in business 20 plus years that still can't do that. They will take every single client, but that's because they don't have control of their pipeline. They don't have control. They don't know where their business is going. Yeah. So, you know, that's a very valuable lesson that you learned early on in your career, and that you're still doing, or already doing at 4 years, not even 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's a way for someone to really scale their business, because that's the biggest thing to kind of get to that next level, is understanding what you need to put either, you know, in the back end with processes or just systems in place to help you understand, okay, this is what I can actually take on, and this is where I need to, like, cut it. Like, I can't take on that kind of business right now, because it's gonna scale me back, and then I don't know what Q2 or Q3 looks like, because maybe you're exhausted at that point.
You put all your effort into one person, all your eggs in one basket, and now
I've done it. We talked
about this last year. One of the things that I do want to discuss today, there's a lot of talk out there right now. It's the beginning of the year. People are always talking, especially real estate agents, what's coming in 2026? What are the trends? What should we anticipate? What should we expect? Nobody knows. That's the reality. Nobody knows. You know, time will tell. But I do think, and I'm sure you and I have talked about this, I think the real estate market in 2026 will be very similar to what it was in 24, 25, at least in Chicagoland. Nationally, different story. I talk about this on almost every episode. Do not follow national trends for local real estate. It's just not the same.
No, and it's so funny when every client kind of just brings it up. It's like, you got to look at just the small piece of Chicago.
Right.
And what I've been seeing, especially in the early half of January, is it's busy. People are out there. They want to make a move. And, you know, just kind of going back to what the rental market's looking right now, prices are high. Prices are extremely high right now, and the inventory is extremely low.
In the rental market.
In the rental market. And, you know, what you typically expect in this time is, you know, let's just think about high rises, right? This is their time where they're going to be offering a 1 month free, or, you know, even 2 months free, especially on the newer buildings. I'm not seeing that. And I'm not seeing that because they already have met the 96% occupancy. And
what do you think is driving the demand, though? Because this is early for there to be this much demand in the market.
I think people are kind of just trying to take that advantage of, okay, maybe I'll overlap my lease for half a month or a month if I can find a new place that, you know, maybe they have outsized their apartment. Maybe they want some upgrades to their apartment. So people are willing to make that sacrifice to make a little bit of an earlier move than what they would typically do.
Do you think people are chasing cheaper rents
I mean, yeah, you see that all the time. You see that all the time, but that's not the reality, unfortunately. I mean, it's always, I hate to say it, but it's funny when I get people who call me for the first time. They're looking for a one bed, let's just say Lakeview, Lincoln Park, and they give me a number, and I'm like, on the other line, I'm like, that's not going to happen. You know,
What is that number?
A one bed in Lincoln Park right now is $2,650, $2,700.
For a one bed?
Yes. You want a one bed? You want in unit washer and dryer? Oh yeah, you're at $2,700.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you want just a C plus class rental in Lincoln Park, yeah, maybe we can find it for you right around $2,000. But the odds of finding that on the market is very slim. Like, you're gonna have to find that on Facebook Market. You know. It's just not out there.
Yeah. Well, and then you have to be careful of scams.
Scams.
There's so many reasons why you shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. That's why you should use a realtor when you're trying to find an apartment, because I've had people, you know, even family move to Chicago and they found an apartment off Facebook, seemed all legit, and then by the time she went to go get the keys, nobody was there for the keys. She already paid first month's rent.
Deposit.
Yeah. And she was out a month. So that's why you use a realtor.
Yeah. And it's such a valuable lesson, because it's not just on the tenant side, it's on the buy side. There are so many scams out there. The vacant lot scams that are happening. I mean, they're scamming realtors now into listing these properties that they don't even have the right to list.
Yeah.
And we could spend a whole day talking about that. We won't go down that rabbit hole.
But going back to your question, like, what am I seeing in Chicago? I mean, I am seeing a lot of my clients that are calling me who are moving to Chicago. And why are they moving to Chicago? Is because I feel like we're in a marketplace that is booming. There's so many opportunities in Chicago. I mean, look at, like, spring, sun, maybe not today with the cold weather and the snow, but in the spring, summer, I mean, who doesn't love Chicago? Walking around the lakefront, being on the river, going to a Cubs game. I mean, the city has energy. It's a great place to be. And I see it with a lot of just the younger clientele moving to the city, especially right out of college, who, you know, maybe they went to a Big Ten school, and what's the next biggest city within that region? They're going to aim for Chicago. And I love it. You know, I want to see the city thriving again. I would love to see the Loop come back. I would love to see people go back into the office 4 to 5 days a week and be in that environment.
Careful, that's an unpopular opinion.
Well,
right there.
I get it. I know everybody likes to work from home.
Comments on one of our other clips.
I like to work from home here and there, but it's like, at least have it a couple days so that, you know, people can feel like they're able to grow in their profession and be around people who they can learn and grow from. And, you know, working from home is just a whole different experience.
I agree. I can't do it. I mean, we talk about this. I cannot work from home.
No.
I have an office at home. I built a beautiful office. I just can't use it.
Yeah.
So there's too many distractions.
Well, you got kids, you got the dogs.
Yeah. Oh, the refrigerator. I would say my Peloton, but, you know, that's just a clothes hanger at this point. But hey, Peloton, sponsor the podcast. But one of the other things that I'm seeing a lot right now is you always had snowbirds. Chicago winters, obviously we're talking about it today, but people go away for the winter. Now you're seeing, I don't even know what the term is for it. We haven't come up with one yet. We probably should, but people are now looking to move to Chicago for the summers.
Yeah.
There is nothing better than a Chicago summer. You have the air and water show. You have the lake. You know, we have one of the largest sources of fresh water. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes. Well, knock on wood, we don't have earthquakes. We are sitting on a major fault line. And
we got great golf.
We've got phenomenal golf.
We got good golf courses.
So,
you got to drive a little bit.
And it's a central hub. You can get anywhere from Chicago.
Yeah.
O'Hare is now the busiest airport in the world again.
Yeah. I mean, it's the place to be. I mean, going off that point, it's like, I'm right now working with a client who, you know, they're from California, their daughter and son already live in the city, and they just want to have a place in the city for when they come and visit their kids. Like, they're sick of doing the hotels, Airbnbs, like, they just want like a hub. So like when they come during the spring and summer, they already got their condo, like they can walk in, it feels like another home to them. Like, and that's kind of what I'm starting to notice with my younger clientele is like, their parents are definitely in the picture doing the decision making as well, and they're like, they're thinking logically though. They're like, okay, if my daughter's going to be here, maybe she's going to grad school for, another 3-4 years. Maybe it makes sense to just get them a condo. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting to work with those kind of clients, because one thing I love to do with my first-time home buyers is really compare buy versus rent and show them the analysis like within like a 3-4 year period, and show them what their property could be valued at during that timeline too. And it's like, it blows their mind. They're like, wow, like I was gonna pay all that money for rent, God knowing like maybe my daughter would move twice during that timeline, where I can find one place, she's settled, she's at home, she feels good, she can focus on her school, she can focus on her life. Like, those are the things to really consider when you're making these decisions,
Yeah. Well, and it's a world-class city like Chicago. You're never going to have a hard time renting that unit out. Mm-hmm. The key is as long as it's rentable.
That's true.
So, and that's a different challenge in the city. What are you seeing right now? Because you are working with a lot of buyers. Yeah. And the market is super competitive. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing right now in terms of trends? This is something I've seen a lot of other agents talking about. And there's some scary stuff that I'm hearing. I have not come across it yet, but I'm curious to know what you think is going to be the hot ticket item or the new trend in writing offers to be competitive.
I guess let me ask you this. What's the scary stuff that you're hearing right now before I answer your question? Because
I've been hearing a lot of it, and again, I have not yet experienced this. I've been hearing a lot of agents talking about waiving a finance contingency. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
That terrifies me.
I've been seeing that. I've been seeing a lot of people take advantage of, like, the unit comes on the private market, right? And they're saying, give us a week. We're going to plan on doing open houses probably the next following weekend. Well, that's great and all, but if you have a connection with that listing broker, I've been seeing these brokers write offers before even getting their client into the condo or the home, and it's going under contract before anyone else sees it.
Yeah. Well, you did
and
that
I
recently.
did that. I did that with one of my
Successfully.
Did it with one of my clients looking in the Lincoln Park area. It was a 2-bed, 1-bath, and we noticed that the unit was relatively priced well below what the market trend showed for the 2-bed, 1-baths in that pocket of Lincoln Park, and we took advantage of it. And I think we got extremely fortunate enough that we had a well-established relationship with the listing broker, because if we didn't, it probably wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. We would have gone to the open houses, and if we really wanted to win that unit, it probably would have been another $30,000 to $40,000 on top of our price that we have it at. That's a big number.
That's scary. And you guys, as it was, you were already over ask.
Yeah, we had.
Although it seems like it was priced very low.
They did that to make it so it was a little bit compelling and competitive. But yeah, I was at an open house yesterday, and it's negative degrees outside. It's cold. People are going. Mm-hmm. Weather ain't stopping people looking at a condo that could be the perfect home for them. So it's going to be a busy year, and
I'm okay though with that being, if that's the trend this year, if that's the key is make a sight unseen offer. We've seen that before. You have protections in the contract.
Absolutely.
You have your attorney review. You have your inspection. You can write in a contingency to be able to see the property before, making a decision to move forward. I am not okay, and I'm putting this out there, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I hope you do. I am not okay with people waiving their finance contingency. You have no protection if you don't have the money. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with making a cash offer if you have the cash with the option for a mortgage.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if you make an offer and waive your finance contingency and you don't have the funds,
you're shooting yourself in the foot. You just shot
yourself in the foot. You have no protection for your earnest money.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're going to want significant earnest money in that situation.
Yeah.
The second thing is you have no appraisal to fall back on. What are you doing? If you don't have the ability to purchase this property without financing, without an appraisal, you are putting yourself at risk in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe that there are agents that are out there advising their clients, I'm going to get mad about this.
That's fine.
Advising
I'm
their
with
clients
you on this one.
to make offers with no finance contingency when they are not cash buyers.
It's scary. It's really scary. And it's kind of crazy that the lender is kind of giving them the second advice to kind of go through with that. Because wouldn't you agree that the lender has to?
I don't know that it's lenders that are giving this advice. I have heard of lenders saying, well, you can go with no finance contingency, or you can waive your appraisal. There are options there when you waive your appraisal.
I get the waived
I'm
appraisal.
fine with that.
That's fine.
But what if you all of a sudden you get to the week before closing and you lose your job?
Lose your job or medical, you know, something crazy happens, right?
You are so royally fucked in that situation.
And your earnest, you know, what, 3 to 4%? Maybe,
right.
Like, that's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Especially for a first-time home buyer.
I think a lot of agents forget that we are, at the end of the day, we're not attorneys, but we do have a fiduciary responsibility to protect our clients.
Yeah.
And by advising them, it's the same thing with completely waiving an inspection.
Yeah.
There are certain situations where I get it. It makes sense. If you are a contractor, if you have a family member who's a contractor, if you are an investor and you're experienced and you know what you're getting into and you can walk into a building, especially with condos, there's a lot less risk when you're waiving an inspection. Yeah. Not that I would recommend it, but I get that, okay? I do not understand waiving your protection if you do not have the funds available to be able to close.
Yeah, I mean,
that makes zero sense to me, and I will die on this hill.
It's the last step for someone to be clear to close. It's like, you want that in protection. You want that in place, because if you don't, you're really putting yourself behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
If things hit the shit, you know?
Yeah.
You're screwed. So I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it yet either, but I have seen multiple agents talking about it on their own podcast or in interviews or at panels, and I just do not understand that. It makes no sense to me why someone would advise a client to do that.
What kind of clientele are we talking about, though? Like, are we talking about these kind of clients have potentially the funding in place behind?
If you have the funding, if you have the ability to be a cash buyer,
yeah,
I'm okay with it in that case. You write your offer as cash with the option for a mortgage if you're still planning to get financing. I don't have a problem with it in that case. But what I'm hearing agents doing is writing offers where their clients do need to get a mortgage, don't have the funds available, and I'll hit this next point in a second, but they're advising their clients to waive their finance contingency, even though they need to get financing, because that's how they think that they're going to be competitive. And that's the new thing in 2026.
Yeah.
And I just have a problem with that. And if I'm the listing agent and I get an offer that is waiving the finance contingency, I want to see a proof of funds.
Absolutely.
Show me where the money's coming from.
Absolutely.
And if they come back and say, well, we need to get a mortgage, I'm not going to recommend to my client to accept that offer when there's nothing behind it.
I was just going to say, because now you're putting your seller client at risk of going through this entire process, whether it take 3 weeks, even a month, and then you get to a week and a half before closing and the deal falls apart. So
for sure,
that's a scary thing. I'll be on the lookout for those kind of offers.
Now I need to know if you see that come across, or if you have. If people are, if you're out there and you're a consumer and your agent is advising you of that, you better really ask some serious questions. I think that's what the point I want to get across is. That is concerning to me. That is not someone who is advising you and representing your best interests.
Yeah.
I get it. You do everything you can to win in this market. But that is not a strategy that, in my opinion, is helping you to win. That is a strategy that is putting you at risk in more ways than one, because now you're in default. And yes, a lot of attorneys will write into the attorney review letter that the only or the sole remedy of a default on the buyer side is forfeiture of earnest money. But what if the other side doesn't agree to that?
Yeah.
Then you're putting yourself in the opportunity or a position to be sued. I just think it's a huge risk, and I am not in favor of it. Like, I need a shot at tequila, and we're going to move on to something else.
I was just going to say, like, I think it's a massive risk for the buyer's agent, because you could potentially put yourself at a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Like, that's scary. That's the last thing I would want to get myself into if I'm working on a deal with that advice.
Yeah, so. I agree. So I do want to touch on this because, Jack, you have been part of the show, part of Windy City Unlocked. So what was your experience? Because it was kind of cool
Yeah.
having a co-host, walking side by side across a bridge.
It was a great experience. Really cool to kind of be one part of a team that is now being showcased on a live TV show. And
Not live.
Not live.
It's not Windy City Live. The number of people who have come up to me and they're like, wait, what is your show, Windy City Live? I'm like, no, trust me, it's not live TV. I could not do live TV like that.
Being on a TV show was really, really cool. And like the fact that, you were able to agree upon, showcasing my sister's business and having her involved on the episode as well. That was just really awesome to be with my sister and have her kind of have the spotlight a little bit, because I know how much time and effort she puts into her job. And, it's crazy just hearing like, she's just came home from Ohio from driving a U-Haul, and, she goes to New York and does it in Florida. I mean, it's like, she loves what she does.
Yeah.
And I think
I love that your mom came out too.
Yeah.
I was she's so proud of both of you.
She's like my mom's like UPS. She does the boxing, she does the shipping.
Yeah.
She's a part-time worker too, so we'll get her involved.
Yeah. No, I just thought that was a fun experience, and it was really cool to see, the support that was there, and, just watching as we're doing all of this. Your mom was just so proud of both of you. So what is next?
What is next? What is next is really just kind of taking my business to the next level. And what I mean by the next level is, we talk about this all the time, and I've been known as the go-to rental guy, whether it be on the landlord side or the tenant side in Chicago. And I love that. I'm here to always kind of help people out, whether it's just kind of find an apartment. But, what I really want to try to focus on now is being known as that buyer's agent.
Okay.
That's something that I'm putting a lot of emphasis and focus on with my daily habits and my routines, and just kind of staying very consistent with, my conversations, and getting coffees with people, and, trying to find that next pipeline / sphere of people that are in that process of thinking about buying.
So who are those people?
Yeah.
What is a good scenario? When does it make sense for someone to start having the conversation? Because just having the conversation does not mean, I'm no longer a renter, I'm a buyer. Mm-hmm. It's just educating yourself.
Absolutely. And I think the first thing that I kind of look at is, what are they paying in rent right now? Whether it's with roommates or by themselves. I like to kind of take that one piece and really unlayer the onion almost, in a sense, and try to see, okay, you're paying X and Y and Z for rent right now. This is kind of what the price points you would potentially be able to look at if you were to buy. So I like to start there. And then, I always ask them, have you had the opportunity to speak to a lender? Do you have anyone in your family that has a preferred lender? And most of the times they don't, which is totally okay, because I love to get involved. The preferred lenders that I work with, because one, I've had great experience with them. And two, I know that they're available. There are times where I've given my lenders a call on a Sunday night, and they are the first ones to pick up the phone and ask, what can I do for you, Jack? Right. They are there for us, because, this is important for them too. They wear the biggest hat, I think, during a buy side transaction. And so, going from those steps, there are a lot of times where my clients have the opportunity to speak to a lender, and maybe it doesn't make sense right now. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're just not ready. It's too much to take on. They got stuff happening in their life. Maybe they're getting engaged in the upcoming year or so. They just want to take a step back, which is totally okay. But I think that's an awesome opportunity to work on credit score. What are ways that I can boost my score to make myself in the best position for getting pre-approved? What can I do with some of the debt that I currently have right now? Are there ways that, should I be paying more? Should I be taking a step back from some of these other payments that I'm making monthly? So it's really just helping them understand their financials before they make the biggest decision in their life.
And it's something that a lot of people try to do on their own.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't want to talk to a lender yet because I know my credit's not great, or I don't have enough money saved for a down payment. Well, there's a lot of loan programs out there where you don't need a huge down payment. But talking to a lender is that first step. It doesn't really cost you. It costs you nothing. Actually,
Yeah, it just costs you your time. That's
so
it.
it's not even that much time.
No,
but it's learning what steps you can take. It could be paying off a low balance credit card. That is just a revolving line of credit. That maybe you have $100 a month balance, but if you get rid of that, it may boost your score. 50, 100 points. That could make a huge difference in your qualifying rate and ultimately what your monthly payment is. So it's not a great thing for people to do on their own, and a good professional mortgage lender has that knowledge and has the resources to help with that.
Absolutely. And I think like the next steps after that is just really walking them through the buyer presentation that we've been able to work on together. And I appreciate that you've spent the time, you've grilled me being one of those hard clients where maybe their dad is involved or mom, and they're just, really giving it to you. Because that has helped me allow like the conversations that I have with my clients where I just feel so comfortable. I already know what question is coming after I go over a certain thing, and I can really walk them through it. And then they walk away from the appointment where there's like, God, he knows what he's talking about. Like, I feel good with using him.
And they're excited.
Like that really is the biggest thing about a buyer's presentation when you're doing it is, one, make sure that they feel confident. Two, make sure that they have all the information that will, make them feel good about the process. And three, make sure that they really are happy and that they're excited to really take this next step, because it's a big, big moment in their life. And I love it. Like after completing, a condo sale or a home sale, it's so exciting. I mean, the one that I did last year that was on the border of Iowa and Illinois was crazy. That was a lot of driving.
Yes, but, it was.
After they moved in, they sent me a photo of their kids in the new home playing, and like, it kind of just put a smile on my face. Like, this is their new home. This is where they're going to raise their children. And like, these kids are always going to remember like where we lived as, young ones. So it felt good.
For me, that's the reason, that's the why behind all of this. Like, I love aspects of the process. I think negotiating is my favorite thing in the world to do. But I love that at the end of the day, it's about helping people. And it's about seeing the joy, watching someone move into the house that they're going to bring home their first kid, or that they're going to raise their kids, or that they're, taking that next step in their life where now it's about them and their enjoyment, or, the emotion when someone's selling a family home. And being able to be there to guide them through that process. It's so rewarding for us, not
monetary.
Financially, it is rewarding as well, but just the satisfaction of knowing that you are really truly helping someone. And there will be a lot of comments and people saying, "Oh, you guys are just overpaid clowns," and whatever. Bring them on. Okay. I at the end of the day, I know I sleep well, knowing that I've done the right thing and that I've truly been able to help people.
No, that's the best thing about it. It's like you're now part of this person's life. Like, and maybe they don't think about it on a daily basis, but when
you do.
When you go drive in that neighborhood and you can already, you know that address, you're like, yeah, I know those clients. Like, you think about it and you're like, wow, like, I'm excited that those were those clients that I was able to put into their home, and, they send you new people and they get you involved in their sphere, and it's like you have stories to tell. And that's why I feel like this industry is all about, is like, you want to be able to share stories, whether they be success or be moments where shit hit the fan. And it just didn't go well, but you have a story to tell.
For sure. And it's fun being able to look back and have those conversations. And like yesterday I was out showing a client properties and it's freezing cold, and they were on their way to go drop off cookies to their friend that actually referred them to me. And as we're leaving, she's like, "Do you like cookies?" I'm like, "Who doesn't like cookies?" She's like, "I have cookies for you too." And it's like, you just build relationships and you become part of the friend group. And now, like, we're already talking about going out with my friends that referred them to me and them and the multiple other families that have been referred. And, you know, we see them come to the client events every summer and just get to be part of the family.
Yeah, I love it.
It's just expanding our network.
Absolutely.
And our family.
And that's the best thing about this profession. It's like, you're gonna be in rooms where you're just gonna bump into people that they know you, whether you helped them or you helped one of their friends or coworkers, and it's the best. That's why I love what I do. I really love what I do.
Well, I love that for you.
Yeah, like
and for me, and you know, I think that's one of the most rewarding things is I got to actually watch you grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, as a 12-year-old caddy.
As a little shit.
So, and then, you know, taking those next steps, and, you know, I appreciate the way that you've grown in your career, even in, you know, just the last year, not even year, that we've been working together officially.
I think it's the 1-year anniversary, like next month.
Coming up in a few weeks, for sure. So, anything else that you have going on right now that you want to talk about? You've got some big steps coming. You're putting together a webinar.
Yeah. So you know, I've been able to kind of start working on this webinar that we want to, you know, throw out there in the upcoming weeks. I think the first one's going to be first week of February. You know, it's going to kind of just be an open Q&A with clients to just kind of want to know what the buying process is like. And like we already kind of mentioned, it just starts with having a conversation with a lender. And I think it's a great opportunity for people to just kind of throw out the questions that, you know, maybe they hear from the nationwide news, and, you know, also, you know, what it takes to be a buyer in this market and be competitive. Because if you're going to write offers in this time right now that aren't the best or compelling, it's probably not worth it. It really isn't, because it's just, to win in this market, you got to make sure your client and the lender are all on the same page. Because what I'm seeing already, it's really competitive, and we are in January.
Yes. If you look outside, we are in January. It is still winter in Chicago.
Like, the supply is coming. I know the supply will be here within the next couple of weeks, but when it comes, you and your client got to make sure that your team is put together, your lending is already put together, you are pre-approved, you're ready to go. Because, I mean, if you're not pre-approved and you're going looking at properties, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, I know you are the same way, but I will not go out with a client unless they are pre-approved. And I've been doing that my entire career. I got burned one time.
Yeah.
Once you get burned on that one time, you never do it again.
Yeah.
But it is really important.
It is.
And you said something very interesting a second ago. When the supply hits, when the supply comes, the city market is obviously different than the suburban market. I don't see a ton of supply coming.
Huh. In the burbs?
In the burbs. I mean, we've been hearing about this silver tsunami that's coming, you know, baby boomers that are now moving. We've been hearing about that for years. Yeah. And I just truly don't see it coming. So I'm interested to hear when you say the supply hits.
Yeah, when I say the supply hits, I think it's neighborhood from neighborhood. Obviously, Lincoln Park, you're still going to be pretty low on supply because that's the hottest demand right now. I do see like the West Loop picking up here and there, depending on price point, but I think you're seeing a little bit more activity on a weekly basis. You know, there will probably be 3 or 4 newer listings that are rolling out. It just depends on what your client's looking for, right? Obviously, you're looking River North, you look in Streeterville, the average days on the market is well up compared to what you're going to see in Bucktown, Lincoln Park.
So the hotter neighborhoods.
The hotter neighborhoods, you're
seeing more similarity to the suburbs.
Yeah. I mean, Streeterville, stuff like that, that stuff will be there. I mean, I would love to see River North come back. I would love to see Streeterville come back because I think there are great aspects of those neighborhoods. I just think the stigma around them right now, or people want to avoid it. Why? Who knows?
I mean, that's the great thing about Chicago is you have pockets, you have neighborhoods. Everything is cyclical. There's certain neighborhoods, and it used to be that it was pushing further and further out from the city. It almost feels like it's pulling back in a little bit right now.
It is. I'm sensing that too. So it's exciting. We will see. You know, you can't anticipate what you're gonna get. You just gotta be prepared when it comes.
I think that's a great point, and I think that's a great way to end the show. Just be prepared when it comes.
This was awesome. Thanks.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that we did this.
So thank you if you watched the whole podcast, if you listened in. Thank you for joining us on Unlocking the Windy City. Follow us on social media at Just Call Justin, JG Group Chicago, and Jack Wiley Real Estate.
Correct.
And we look forward to seeing you the next time.